Are we recording?
We are.
Oh my God!
Hi, Stan.
What up, Marshall? We're back.
Gosh, here we are.
Here we are.
How you feeling?
Good.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You really just want to just jump right into the awkward intro?
Why not?
What?
Why not?
Like,
Why?
I could tell you're trying, though.
But yeah, what
Like, I
else,
can
what
tell
else
you-
am I supposed to do?
Are you feeling good? Are you feeling good?
And then the little like teeth showing.
What's that?
That's you.
That's you.
That's you. That's you.
You feeling good?
You've never said that to me when we're not mic'd up.
No.
Hey, Stan, are you feeling good?
Yeah, well, it's because we're on. We're on TV or podcast.
No,
or
you're
whatever it is.
trying to create the awkward intro. Why?
No.
Just
I was
make
not.
it-
No, I was trying to make it good. I was trying to make it ease into it.
All right.
Well, sure is good to see you.
Yeah. Well, we're back for 2 episodes.
Yeah.
3 for those that get my drawing basics course.
Yeah.
Oh,
Whoa.
little slime marketing tactics there.
So what do you want to do?
What do you mean?
I mean, what do we want to do right now?
We are recording a podcast.
I know.
Would you like to talk to me?
Yeah.
Let's do that.
It's the Draftsmen Show.
Yeah. There goes
It's
Charlie
about time.
interrupting us. We've been gone for so long. Like, what's up?
It's a little awkward.
Are you doing good?
I'm doing
you
quite
doing
well.
good?
Yes, quite well. You know,
What's been going on?
well, I've been working on the perspective course.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, you have.
I know
been.
you don't believe it, but I have been. Charlie knows that it's true.
Yeah. You know how many times I've heard this?
I didn't tell you
In my
that I was
life.
working on it when I was not working on it. I am actually working on it now. So we're making progress, even
Okay.
if slowly.
Now, play back all the times he said we're working on it.
Perspective course. Yeah,
Let's just
yeah,
do a
yeah.
little loop.
You're still on your, 8th year of perspective now? 7th year on perspective? So,
No, I will finish it.
are you
God
sure?
willing.
That's what you said to me 5 years ago?
I know. It's 6 years ago.
Is it still maybe next year or?
We're shooting for 2020. But we can do what we can. I'm working on it. Yeah.
Okay. So now, again, you're now working on it?
I am working on it.
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
And we are making some progress.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Some progress.
Now, where do we go from here?
I
And-
think
and-
you've
How much
done a little
progress,
more than
Charlie?
some progress.
You are editing the course, right, Charlie?
Yeah, I'm in charge
How
of
much
that.
progress has there been?
We've made a significant amount of headway on the first batch of episodes.
First batch. How many batches are there?
Let's not, we don't need to go into all that. The more you talk about it, the harder it is to keep the momentum. Let's just do our job.
Yeah.
How are you doing, Stan?
I'm doing good now.
As opposed to when?
Well, COVID kind of threw off a lot of my habits.
Did you get COVID?
Especially no. Like the whole
Oh, yeah,
the whole
pandemic
thing,
yeah.
the not like
And we're allowed to say that now.
the word. I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
so. Is YouTube still?
I don't think so.
I doubt it. I mean, maybe.
But it used to be that if you said the word,
Yeah, YouTube would just like put a message under your video that's like
yeah,
fake news.
So
Go here instead.
we never said the word. Yeah. Okay, so it threw you off. I didn't never
Yeah,
get COVID.
but
either.
I'm back. I got a physical trainer now.
You got a physical trainer.
It's just been a month. But yeah, I stopped swimming for like a year.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about what the physical training is about?
You know, I think I've mentioned before I had lower back issues a little bit.
Uh-huh.
Every time I start working out, my lower back swells up, and I'm just like I hurt myself afterwards. So, but he's been doing great. Anyway, I don't want to get too far into that. That's kind of
because
boring.
You got, but you
just
got
saying,
a specialized exercise regimen
Sure.
that is for you.
Just the point is getting healthy again.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, we went to Lightbox this weekend. In the time of recording, Lightbox was 2 days ago.
Lightbox was 2 days ago, and you were there all 3 days.
I was glued to this chair.
You sure were.
We set up the Draftsmen set at the booth, and I had people sit down and talk to me. And literally, on Saturday, I was sitting for like 8 hours
Wow.
in the chair talking to people. I took a 45-minute break for lunch. Other than that, I was talking to people. I lost my voice.
Yeah.
I think I ate a whole bag of Ricola stuff. What it was.
Yeah.
Oh, those little
throat lozenges.
lozenges. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I had several cups of throat coat tea.
Uh huh.
It helps. The cool thing that I think is we had sketchbooks out for people at the booth, and people went up and sketched the skulls that we were selling there.
Yeah.
You want to look through?
Yes, I do. This is part of what you came away from Lightbox with.
Yeah, we'll show a few of our faves on screen, but
people did a lot of skulls.
There are a lot of good ones. This is a really good, what do you call it? Measure of the quality of artists walking by.
Yeah.
A lot of variety of styles.
Variety of styles, but just the average level of quality is really high, like way higher than I expected.
Yeah.
Like most of these skulls are really good.
It's because they're watching PROKO and they're learning. Draw your own skull and crossbones.
I don't want to brag.
No, I'll brag for you.
I was kidding. I want to brag. I am proud of my students.
I'm proud of your students too. This is great. Hey, what'd you think of Lightbox?
Lightbox was great.
I thought it was great too. I thought it was really an amazing convention.
Yeah, they did a great job again.
Did you do any panels?
No, not this year. I just wanted to focus on the booth.
Yeah, which you did. The booth was a happening place.
Yeah. Well, there's 4 more sketchbooks. So we also did a memorial for
Kim Jung-gi?
Yeah, for Kim Jung-gi, and we just had people sketch in these sketchbooks, and we're going to send it to his family.
Good.
So, yeah.
Well, that was thoughtful. Yeah, we could get caught up in this.
If any stick out, just mention it and we'll put it up.
That tree is lovely.
The first one.
Yeah.
This one stands out.
But it is a nice tree.
It is a nice tree.
Yeah,
it is.
That's Patrick's
nice,
tree.
Breaking
Patrick
it into
what,
two
Bosworth?
values.
Bosworth.
Oh, our Patrick.
Our Patrick.
Oh, cool.
That was Patrick Bosworth?
You met Patrick.
Yeah. Kind of worked with Patrick. Patrick and I have favorite movies in common. Wow, who did this?
Yeah, Patrick edited 2 Draftsmen
That's Cutter.
episodes.
Cutter did that.
Yeah.
Wow.
He did it with the brush pen.
All right. And then a fourth
I believe
book.
Todorovich did one in there, and I actually haven't even seen the final.
It is so Joseph Todorovich.
Yeah. He did a good one.
Yeah. Joseph drove me up there.
Really?
Yeah, at one point, yes.
Marshall, didn't you have a panel at Lightbox?
Yes, I had a panel at Lightbox with Peter Hahn, and we did a presentation on our favorite artists and lessons from them. I felt like it went really well. I think Peter felt like it went well. We spoke about
it went well.
Equal amounts of times, and it was staggered between the two of us, and I had not really taken a good look at some of the work he had presented, but it was a great group. They were absolutely into it. All of the panels seemed like they were overbooked, so that there were more people who wanted in than could get in.
That was the number one complaint.
Yeah, but they were small
More
rooms.
panels, like
More panels,
more
bigger
panels,
rooms.
spread people out. Yeah, bigger.
A lot of people were saying like if there was a way to digitally view the panels or see them later.
Oh, they wouldn't want to. They would be okay with missing it.
Yeah,
That's true. Yeah,
It was a good
idea.
vibe, though. Just I felt like the whole convention was a good vibe.
Mm-hmm. Was your panel any different from the episode we did on our favorite artists? Art parents?
Yes, it was quite different.
Who were the different artists that you mentioned?
I started with my initial, my 19-year-old infatuation with Escher.
I think you've mentioned Escher.
And how careful he worked.
Yeah.
And then how when I saw Cly, I wasn't that thrilled. Well, actually, it's going to be, the panel is going to be posted. So everybody will see it.
Okay.
But the theme became carefulness and planning versus improvisation and risk. So we ended with an homage to Kim Jung-gi because he was such a blazing light of someone who took risk, although for him, he was so used to taking risk, it hardly became risk. It was just you ride the stream of imagery that comes to you. But it's so different from Escher, and so different from anyone who works in stages of planning.
Yeah.
And there was no pitch that one was better than the other. There was a pitch that if you're aware of this, I always feel that if you're inclined toward one way or another, that it's good to exercise the other, but you're probably going to shine on the thing you're most inclined to.
Yeah.
But it was a privilege to present with Peter Hahn. It was a privilege to present at Lightbox. And it was such a whirlwind of activity. And I cannot believe how many people watched the Draftsmen podcast. I could not believe how many people approached us, saying that they were listening to them, even though it's been a year since we've done them.
Yeah, you can believe it.
I can believe it. Yeah, but you forget it sometimes because you're in a studio with just a few people, and then all of a sudden you find out that there's an audience out there that is bigger than you thought.
Yeah, that was the one big thing, was like finally seeing everyone again.
Yeah.
And seeing the listeners, and then also just the art friends that I haven't seen in 3 years.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah, it was a great reunion. Lots and lots of former students. I had a lot of opportunities to introduce people that had never met each other before. So it was like those 3 characters that Malcolm Gladwell identifies in The Tipping Point as people who change culture. There were 3 labels. There was the maven, there was the connector, and there was the salesperson.
And you remember this? Just
oh yeah, I got to be a connector between students and professionals.
There's just like sticks in there.
This is well-trodden territory for Marshall. He's brought this up a few times.
Yeah, I bring it up all the time.
That he even brought it up.
You advertised. Show the PROKO, the PROKO, the things that you put around your neck.
The lanyards.
Yeah, when I went in there, I couldn't believe that right away the lanyard they're going to put around my neck says PROKO.
Yeah. You thought you were getting away from me.
No.
For a weekend.
No, it was the yoke was going to be placed over my shoulders.
The yoke?
Yes, the yoke. Do you know what a yoke is?
Sounds like bad.
Yeah, it does. It sounds bad, but I'm trying to be ironic with it, and use a bad thing to talk about a good thing.
Okay.
But never mind.
It just sounded bad.
Never mind. Let's just move right on.
I got all the PROKO yoke all over your head.
Hey, that's great. The PROKO Yoko.
The PROKO Yoko?
Okay, enough banter. People are not here for our banter. We have some of the worst banter of any podcast that I know of.
You mean the best?
No, some of the worst.
No, I mean the worst. Yeah, we do.
We do.
Yeah.
So, where to now?
We got to stand out somehow.
What else has been on your mind?
No, that's not how I asked you to say it.
Well, how did you ask me to say it?
What else
It's
have you been up
already
to?
falling apart.
What else have you been up to?
What else you been up to?
Oh, you know.
Oh, man, that sucks.
No.
You ought to be ashamed of yourself. Shooting your partner, and it's okay to aim for the eyes.
No,
it's not.
It's not.
Yeah. I'm gonna keep this.
Don't shoot until you see the whites of the eye.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, we've been doing a bunch of Nerf battles here at the office.
And who's dominant?
I've won.
You've won?
You also had a Captain America shield.
I had a Captain America shield that gave me an advantage, but that's their fault.
We're going to talk about that today.
Well, you know what? Christian had a whole wall.
That's true.
We're going to talk about in the culture code. It's going to talk about this business of the boss winning and not winning.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I got to win every time.
Yeah. We're going to have to deal with that. There's going to be some conviction for you.
They're going to have to earn their wins.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see where this goes. But I noticed you have an apple.
Oh, is there anything wrong with having an apple?
No, there's many things right with having an apple. In fact...
I better get my gun.
In fact, I have a thang for you.
Oh, what do you have? What kind of a thang?
Marshall,
what kind of a thang?
You've really sucked at thangs.
Yeah, I haven't been enthusiastic about it.
I've got a thang for you.
Yes.
Make it exciting. Okay.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. A week's supply of apples? You are so thoughtful. You care, don't you? Oh, those are beautiful apples, too.
Here.
Yeah.
I will explain.
Yeah?
This is a new type of apple.
A new breed of apple?
Yes.
Tell me more, Stan.
It's called Cosmic Crisp. Have you tried it yet?
No, I haven't.
Me either. But this is new. It came out last year.
And it's like one of these new genetically engineered
bread. No faking it. No laboratory experiments on this thing. This is just breeding.
Yeah.
I want you to try it. I don't know if this is. I've never tried it.
It's
but
safe.
It's Cosmic Crisp. They were bred for shelf life, so they can last in the fridge for like 12 months.
Really?
That's what Steven told me. He was reading from the Googles.
Yeah, everything that's on the internet is not necessarily true, Steven.
Do you know anything about its flavor profile?
Supposedly kind of sweet, crispy, and cosmic.
Should we try it?
You can taste the galaxies.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. Mmm.
Oh, it's actually really good.
That is a good apple.
It's a little bit less sweet than I expected from the color, but it is sweet enough and sour enough. It's a good balance.
It's a top-notch apple.
And it's crispy.
I love it. But we're not supposed to eat on the podcast. Didn't we have that rule?
We did have the rule, but people know what they're getting into. It's different if you just are munching while talking about something unrelated.
Which is talking about the crispiness of an apple.
People who eat and talk at the same time, disgusting.
Yeah.
But this is okay.
See, at this point, people can skip to the part where you're not eating an apple.
Yeah. If you want to skip, just wait till we are not holding the apples. Okay, one more.
It's a top-notch apple.
Yeah. Is it better than that green one you got there?
It probably is, and I'm not even going to bother with the green one now.
Rejected.
I am so pleased that you introduced me to the Cosmic Crisp apple, and I'm talking with apple in my mouth, which,
Yeah. Okay, Marshall.
Stan, you and I read The Talent Code by Daniel Coyle, and twice.
Oh, is this the same dude?
It's the same guy.
Okay.
You had me read it way back 2013 or so, and then we did a podcast on it.
Yeah.
And I found out, somebody told me, he has another book that he wrote several years later called The Culture Code.
Yeah. I had no idea.
I had no idea until then. I thought I liked the title and the subtitle, The Secrets of Highly Successful Groups. And it is true to the name. And I think that this is a better written book.
Then the Talent Code?
Yeah, I do think it is.
Really?
Yeah. And it was.
You dropped your gun. Just kidding. Okay.
Yeah, I do. I think he got his craft up even higher. But it's the same kind of thing where there's a lot of hooks, the promise that he's going to tell you about a gang of jewel thieves and how they pulled it off, and that he's going to tell you about the worst culture, culture cohesion in the world. So, yeah.
Whoa. Well, what's the worst culture?
It's missile culture. Do you know anything about missile culture?
This is missiles, I'm assuming, is a metaphor for like insults.
No, we're talking about literal Minutemen missiles, the ones that protect the world from the nuclear explosions, and that it is one of the least cohesive, just one of the worst cultures going on. I was surprised that he put it in there, and he contrasted that with submarine culture, because submarine culture is also a military culture, and submarine culture is a better culture, and it is for specific reasons that this book goes into to explain how some cultures, he does a lot of that Goofus and Gallant thing of the worst cultures and the best cultures, and learns lessons from it.
Okay.
Are you excited about it?
I am very excited.
I want to see more body language showing me that you're excited about it.
Isn't this what you do?
No, like a hoop or something. Like, whoop, 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 wow, Marshall, go. Something like that. Yeah, thanks. Oh, that means a lot to me. Thank you.
Everybody go crazy.
Yeah.
What is that? What do they do? They pull. What is it?
Should we do a Three Stooges routine right now? Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out what their little the slap on the ears,
and then
the poking of the eyes. That's right. It's coming back.
An aside about the Three Stooges for 10 or 15 minutes.
No. We have a book.
We have to talk about the culture of the Three Stooges.
Oh, the culture of the Three Stooges is interesting, but I think maybe we'll save it for another podcast.
If you do this one more time, I will shoot you.
Yeah, we brought Draftsmen out of retirement for this.
Okay, yeah, the threat thing. Okay. I really wish I'd had this book when I first started teaching. Having to wait until I'm in my 60s to have this book. He talks about stuff that applies to making classes work.
Oh, so it's any group of people.
It is families, neighborhoods, teams.
Sports teams? You said teams.
Yeah. Sports teams, but also like PROKO team, that kind of thing. Anything like where there's a group of people. He has gone about it like in the last year or so, I've been looking at books on leadership. And I went through a couple of John Wooden's books. I just couldn't relate to him that much. And he was also saying, here's how I do it. Daniel Coyle is not saying, here's how I do it. He's a journalist saying, here's how they do it, and pointing to the great ones. And he's a very good story weaver to show you what these great groups have in common. And he boils it down to 3 things. And that's the book is divided into 3 sections that are about those 3 things. Can you guess any of them? The first one is the most important.
Working together.
Working together, is kind of a general way to put the second one. These 3 things, if you take away any one of them, it's like taking away a leg on a tripod. It will not hold. And the first one is safety. There has to be a sense that I am not threatened in this environment. It's like a child coming into a family. Taking risks comes into the second one, which is connectedness. When people take risks together, when they share vulnerability, it makes it so that there becomes a special connectedness. The three things are safe, connected, and with a future.
What does that mean? That we all have a goal. We have the same path forward. We're aligned.
We have a shared vision. We have a goal. We have a mission statement. We have, in the future, what we're doing now, which is so difficult, will have meaning. And each one of these is like a little gem. That there are multiple facets to it, which is why it's a whole book instead of just those 3 words. And he tells story after story after story of these. And he weaves the stories in entertaining ways.
I want to hear some of your favorite stories, but first, explain the safe thing again. Safety in what? What kind of safety are we talking about here?
Safety is that I am a part of this group, and I'm not
connected.
I'm not going to get kicked out because I make a mistake. That is a big part of safety.
So it allows people to take risks because they know that they can fail, and it's okay.
Yeah. Give me a moment here.
In and out.
Oh,
that's how I breathe now. Sorry, is that distracting?
No, I thought that was a nice rhythm that you're going. I never thought of you as a musician.
Breathing is rhythm.
Yeah, and you exaggerated in a way that reminds me of, I'm watching Ken Burns jazz, and you are really reminding me of these great jazz improvisers.
That's how good I am at
You're that
music.
good.
You want to talk part of Marshall's Preserves?
That
was the private episode that you don't have access to because you didn't buy the basics course.
An exclusive Draftsmen episode?
That's right, Charlie. For only $139, that you can get your hands on a crispy new podcast episode. Yeah, anyway, there's an episode where we did just for the basics course.
Yeah. Now, should I tell one of the stories?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was nice. Thanks, Charlie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Looking out for you.
Let me know when you're ready.
He wants to keep his job. He doesn't feel very safe around here.
Charlie acts like he's safe, but it might just be a whole ruse.
Well, if he doesn't act safe, he
gets in trouble, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, make sure that you put on that face.
So, safety, you can take risks, you can fail, you won't be kicked off the team. What else? What else is part of safety?
He starts the book, and it's even before chapter 1. I think it's in the introduction to the preface. He starts the book telling you about an experiment that was done where the puzzle, the challenge, was to build the biggest possible structure out of a few pieces of uncooked spaghetti, tape, string, and a marshmallow.
Spaghetti, tape, string, and a marshmallow?
Yes. Who can build the biggest structure? And there was a group.
Does sound funny.
There's a group of college business students and a group of CEOs and a group of lawyers and a group of kindergartners. These are all separate groups trying to build the biggest structure.
CEOs, lawyers, and kindergartners.
Mm-hmm.
Why the CEOs and the lawyers?
Well, they were a footnote. It was mainly the school, the college.
Yeah, I imagine the children and the adults.
Guess who won?
Well, of course it's going to be the kids. Otherwise, there wouldn't be fun.
There'd be no point in telling the story.
We beat you, children.
Right.
Yeah, actually, the kids failed miserably, and they cried the whole time.
They ate the spaghetti.
Oh, we put you in your place. Do you know why they won?
They probably just started spitting out ideas of just like having fun.
They did not give in to status management.
Oh, like who's in charge?
Who's in charge? And what if I do? Right. And that might offend them, and that person's the boss, and I'm the boss, and all that. And even though it happens on subtle levels, the subtext of don't offend people because there's a power structure, the kindergartners were just not in tune with that. And they did a lot of quick bursts of responses to what they were doing and then changing their mind. And he described it as trying a bunch of stuff together or something like that. So you had these little minds.
That's what I said.
Yeah, that is. You were right. That's what it was.
Showing you ideas. Well, that's cool. So, but they're dumber.
Okay, here is something that listen to this. 3 myths that need to be shattered.
Yeah.
Not about smart, not about avoiding mistakes, and not about being nice. He has a special part of the book that talks about cultures that are too nice will not be highly successful groups.
That's true.
But he also covers for that. He even early, I think it was in the first chapter, he talks about a guy whose professional job was to go into groups and destroy them.
Yeah, that's why I'm so mean to Charlie.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, sir.
Sorry, sir.
3 roles that the professional destroyer of groups plays. Can you guess the 3 roles?
The 3 roles a destroyer plays? Yeah. This is the person
professional
that is
who goes in to destroy groups.
And they improve the team in the end by doing this?
No, they don't necessarily improve the team. It's like putting a virus bomb.
Then why would they be hired to do it?
To see which groups they can't destroy.
Why?
To see what is different about a group that can't be destroyed by this guy we hire whose job it is to go in there and damage the group.
Okay. Well, one could be to make people dislike each other somehow. Spread rumors.
Oh, the sower of discord among brethren. He didn't ever mention that, but
no?
Kind of. One is the jerk. The guy who comes in and just makes everybody feel uncomfortable so that nobody will say anything. Yeah.
Okay.
I saw a real extreme example of that last year.
Yeah. Yeah.
The second is the slacker. The slacker is a person who just doesn't want to work, and everybody, instead of people saying, well, we'll work better, sometimes people pick up the slacker's energy and they all figure, what the heck? And the third one is related to the slacker. It's the downer. It's the person who just sees the negative side of everything and it infects everybody else.
Yeah, I see all of those. The danger is it infecting others. See, well, this guy's slacking off. Why should I? You know.
They spotlighted one group where the guy could not cause damage. And it was because the leader of the group had established enough, I can't remember the term he used, but it was regular, consistent little cues of safety, connectedness, and what we're here for, the goal of what we're here for. So that somebody's throwing rocks at it and it's like throwing BBs at a tank. You've just got something that is standing too strong on its own for this guy to affect them. So he says that, he talks about this early in the book, so that we're establishing some teams are very strong. Let's look at what highly successful teams have in common. And then he elaborates through the chapters of the book about what those qualities are.
Yeah, this makes sense.
Yeah.
Everybody knows where we're going.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody is okay with just starting to head towards the goal because they know they can always change course. They don't need to know the right answers. Mm-hmm. They figure it out along the way, so they feel safe. And they know that they'll get help from other people and they'll work together. Yeah, it makes sense.
It's like it's the quintessence, the example
Daniel.
of a healthy family. But really, though, when someone quantifies this with story after story, I just found this book really, really exciting. I read it, and then I read it again really slowly over a couple months. But when I was reading it, I wanted to talk with everybody about it. And what I really want to do is read it a third time with a group of people where we're trying to make a successful team.
Okay, who cares? Now let's talk about the book. You do this one more time. You feel safe?
I'm safe.
That's the same.
Isn't this the missile option, though?
This is the whole thing about the second strike capacity of the Cold War. You can look that up.
This is the worst culture possible, right?
Yeah. Let's see if we can get through this.
And yet, what's next?
Why were you excited to talk to people about it? What did you want to talk about?
Some of the stories in here.
Tell me another story.
Are just great. Let me tell you.
Is there another safety story?
Before I tell another example that's related to safety. Here is almost a quote from this. It's not a quote from the book, but he talked about the pattern of small behaviors. It's not one thing that makes a team work. It is a consistent pattern of small behaviors. And here were some of the words he used. Curiosity. That when something goes wrong, instead of immediately judging it, being curious about it. And when I've seen people that are really good with other people, I have noticed that. It's not a quick judgment. It's a what's going on there? I want to hear more, which leads to questioning. And explicit assumptions of mutual benefit. That it's not like you're working against me and I'm working against you. It's an assumption. We've got the same goal, which is mutual benefit. And when you put that goal out there explicitly, then if the behavior is bad, then a person who's worth working with will acknowledge, you're right, this behavior that I'm doing is not working toward our mutual benefit. Explicit assumption of shared goals. So it's a pattern of a whole bunch of behaviors, like a whole bunch of, like, you know how the neck, the vertebrae in the neck do not move that much each. And the same with the lumbar vertebrae. But when you get them together, there's more movement than you would think.
7 times more.
7 times more. Times 7 makes a difference.
Yeah. 7 is a lot.
Okay, now let me tell you the another example of safety, and it's a little tangential. It's the chapter 2 is called "The $1 Billion Day When Nothing Happened," and it was about a guy who turned Google. Google was a contender, or not even a contender practically. I mean, Google was just this place that was trying to be a search engine, and they ended up being the search engine. And there's a guy named Jeff Dean who they spotlight, who it was one day and one post on a bulletin board there that turned everything around.
I thought you said it's not one thing, it's a series of things.
But
like
hang on, let me finish this. What an ass.
I don't know. Are you proving yourself wrong? Or?
Hang on. I'm not done with the story. There's this one thing that happened. It was a post on a bulletin board that turned everything around.
Okay.
And so Daniel Coyle researches this to find out what it was, and he gets the story, and then he goes to Jeff Dean and mentions it to him, and Jeff Dean doesn't even remember it, or barely remembers it. Oh yeah, I do remember it. And the reason he didn't remember it is because it was so much a part of their culture to not worry about making mistakes and chase this and do the things that they did, make connections. It was such an infrastructure for creativity to happen that kind of stuff happens all the time, happens 100 times, happens 1,000 times, and then one of them succeeds. In another environment, that one would never have happened because there was not a habit of all sorts of opportunity to take chances and innovate.
What was the thing?
I don't even remember.
Oh.
I don't remember, but I remember that somebody posted "These ads suck" on the bulletin board, and then Jeff Dean saw it and started figuring out how to solve one problem. One thing led to another. But Daniel Coyle traced it back to a watershed moment, that it goes this way as opposed to that way.
Well, thank you, Daniel.
Have we talked enough about safety?
I like these stories.
I like these stories too. There are more.
Please give me more.
Some of them are I'm excited about.
Some of them. Let's just skip the ones you're not excited about.
Yeah. Well, I liked most of them. Some of them I had a hard time relating to. Sports teams, Navy SEALs, military operations, but all of them, every one of his stories is to make a point that you could spend a week, like what you did with Mixergy. Every one of these chapters and spotlights of these teams that worked, you could spend 1 week saying, how can we be more like them? And I think it would really strengthen a team.
Mixergy was daily.
Mixergy was daily, but didn't you say that every time you listen to one, you spend a week? I thought you said you spent a week.
No, I would kind of think about it that day.
Yeah, okay, got it. Okay, let's move to connectedness.
Yes.
Here was something about connectedness. It was an experiment with a tricky puzzle. You have people try to do a tricky puzzle. They put a person into the room trying to do the tricky puzzle, and then you interrupt them, and you say that another colleague, Steve, has a tip for you that will help.
Freaking Steve. It's always that guy.
It was Steve.
He has a tip?
Steve has a tip that will help you with this puzzle.
Okay.
And they found that if you give people that information, the tip is totally unhelpful.
Damn it, Steve.
It doesn't do any good, but if you give people that information, they will spend something like 50% more time working on the puzzle because they know someone else cares. So that is an example of connectedness. That when you know someone cares about what you're doing, you are more likely to put more energy into it.
So I just need to lie to my team and tell them, hey, Steve over there.
That's not the last lie that comes into this.
No?
No, there's another lie, but I'll get to it. But
I just pretend I care?
Yeah, if a person believes it.
Oh, man.
I know the secret.
Hey,
now.
what you working on? Cool.
A lot of research is based on deception.
Wait, research is based on deception?
Yeah, this was a research experiment to see whether it made a difference. if you give somebody a tip that doesn't help, whether it'll make a difference
Like
in
a
how they
placebo.
work. Yeah.
It worked just because they want it to work.
Do you know about the honest placebo?
The one that's not a placebo? Wait.
It is a placebo, but
Wait.
you tell the person
That it is a placebo?
this is a sugar pill.
Oh,
But
yeah.
we're going to pretend that it's the real thing, and it makes a difference like a placebo.
It still makes a difference?
It still makes a difference.
You tell them it's a placebo.
There's a whole article in Time magazine about 5 years or so ago on this. It was very interesting.
So that means you can take your own placebo. Someone
Yes.
else doesn't have to lie to you. You can just like pretend you're on your own and it still works.
Yes, and part of it is ritualizing it.
Yeah. Yeah. Is this why confidence works?
How do you mean?
Well, that if you believe you could do it, you're more likely to do it. It's kind of like
Probably.
just telling yourself that this pill is real.
And the article was not nearly long enough in Time, but it was still interesting. It was sort of introducing it to the public that much research has yet to be done, and it does not cure diseases. It takes away symptoms, but it works. So yeah, that's similar. Should I save the best one of all, or no? I will. I'll save the best
tell me
one.
now.
Okay, I'll tell you now because you like dessert first. Have you ever heard of the Harvard test of inflected acquisition done in 1965?
I haven't even heard of those words before, Marshall.
Okay. Robert Rosenthal approaches a California public elementary school of first and second graders.
Okay.
And introduces an intelligence test that they take to predict which children will excel
Is this
in
IQ?
the coming years. Like it was it was
SATs?
like an IQ test. Not just their IQ, but whether they're the
EQ.
kind that will be,
And then SQ.
all of that.
All the cues.
All the Qs.
Okay.
Okay. So this is
So-
not a test we know about. This is like
The test, the students
Okay.
don't know whether they passed the test.
okay.
They give the results to the teachers. And sure enough, a year later,
What?
those kids that were identified with the Harvard test of inflected acquisition did way better than the other students. Now, do you
Okay.
know where this is going?
No, they didn't tell the students.
They didn't tell the students, they told the teachers.
Wait, all the kids that took the test?
The kids they predicted would
Oh,
do
just
better.
the one, and
did
the ones
better.
that they predicted that wouldn't did not succeed.
The
or
ones
whatever.
that
What does
they
it mean,
predicted
success?
would do better did way better.
In their careers or something?
In their excelling in school in the coming year.
Oh, I see. They're still in school.
The test was, as he put it, pure baloney.
What does that mean?
It was.
And how did they predict?
The test was nonsense, but they told the teachers.
Oh, they told the I missed that part. Okay.
Well,
okay. They told the
I would
teacher.
predict you as a student that just might not get it.
That's why
Yeah.
you're not my teacher.
That's why I'm not
I
being a
chose
good
my
teacher to
teachers
you. Is that
wisely.
I'm already biased against you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
you're safe.
Good.
Okay. Now, I was hoping that when I told this story, it would be moving. I think I've lost the opportunity for that.
Oh yes, I'm.
Now, think about this, though.
moved.
What it means.
The teachers just focused on the ones to. They made it
didn't
happen.
He made a list of the things the teachers did. First of all, they believed that these students were going to achieve. And so they were kinder. They were more attentive.
Huh.
They gave the kids the benefit of the doubt when this is really one of those gifted students. Well, the test is so accurate that I've just got to believe that. They gave them more input, and it created what he called something, I think he called it a virtue spiral, that the kids recognize, I feel important in this teacher's perception, and so I'm going to do better. And then the teacher sees them doing better and says, the test results were right, and it got better and better and better.
Okay. How much correlation was there to the ones that they told the teacher that would succeed with the ones that were actually successful? Was it like a pure?
I don't remember the specifics, but I do remember that it was over twice, as they succeeded over twice.
Okay, so there were still students that were not predicted to be, that were not told the teacher what they would be successful, that did prevail on their own.
Well, I'm sure
Because there's
there
other
were.
factors. Is what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
but he's not giving a full abstract of these.
I know.
to give
I'm just
every
saying,
detail.
This example could lead someone to believe that it's all about the teacher.
Uh,
But you also, every student
could.
also has their own actions that they could determine their own future. It's not like
we don't need to make that pitch from it, though.
No.
The thing that it made me think is that it does make a difference when a teacher perceives students as gifted. Now, before I read this, I remember years ago that I will consciously see every student that I am teaching as someone who will succeed more than I have succeeded. It doesn't mean that it's going to work. But when I read that, I thought that was so moving to think that you can trick the teacher into saying this kid's going to be successful and the teacher will end up being a better teacher to them and the kid will be successful. I thought it was wonderfully encouraging. And it had a lot to do with what happened with the guy doing the tricky puzzle and knowing that Steve's rooting for him. So he does better. He's connected.
Okay.
How does this apply to your life, Stan, personally?
For some reason, that specific story makes me want to challenge it.
I wasn't finding myself challenging it. I was thinking, this is a little gold nugget.
Yeah.
To take away, which is that if there is a sense of us, a sense of community, a sense of safety, and a sense of you're going to be something special.
No, I totally see how a teacher who believes in a student will do things that will increase the chances for that student to succeed.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Because they're going to put more effort into it. But that specific test, first of all, the students have their own actions. Also, the teacher, do all these teachers just believe in it, without challenging it at all? If somebody told me that this half of the class is going to suck, these are going to be great, and then I observe something different, I'm going to believe in my own... what? I'm going to believe in my own observations. Wait, that test is wrong. She's definitely going to succeed. What the fuck?
It's got to turn into a contest.
I'm a professional instructor. I know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Are these all beginner teachers here? Never...
How come they're not critical thinkers and challenging the data?
Have they not ever seen what an actual student that succeeds looks like?
I think that if you can lie well and say it's called the Harvard Inflection Acquisition. Harvard, gosh, it's a big research institute.
I would assume that the Harvard instructors would have these qualities.
No, these were not Harvard instructors.
Oh, these were where were they teaching?
No, I believe, Stan. I believe that you are going to learn this.
I see.
And that when you read the culture code,
teachers,
you will be as moved emotionally as I was.
Yeah.
This was one of those moments where I had to stop reading so that I could just ingest it.
Yeah.
I liked this book. He makes the point at the beginning, though, that none of this stuff in this book is going to make it easy. It's useful, but the whole process of successful teams is fraught with challenges.
Uh-huh.
That's where that being nice thing and not being nice thing is.
Is there a story about being nice? Oh man, I want to hear this one. Let's hear about the not being nice.
Oh, there's the not being nice. He's got a number. He's got a coach.
Yeah.
Popovich. Is it
Popovich?
Do you know who Popovich is? I didn't know who he was. But he said if you type into YouTube, Popovich yells at his players. I don't even know what. I think it was basketball.
Papa Swolio. If you want daily motivation to go to the gym, follow Papa Swolio on TikTok. He's great.
If you keep slacking, you're going to end up on my naughty list. And let me tell you something. You don't want to end up on Papa Swolio's naughty list. No, you don't. Oh, yes. Give it to me, Daddy.
Greg Popovich screaming at his players compilation.
Sounds like you found it.
Yeah. 14 seconds. This guy just takes all the fun out of it.
Now, here's what he spotlighted about him, though. And he was not the only one he spotlighted like this. This is a guy who gets in your face, who yells, who is an angry dad, and who cares deeply and pulls out all the stops for your birthday party and wine together. So he's deeply involved and caring and deeply confronted, very much like what you described in your childhood, that it's really supportive and really confrontatory.
Yeah.
So yeah, that combination creates connectedness.
So this is a good example?
It was a good example. It was an example of not always being nice.
Okay. He had the respect from the players in other ways so that when he yelled at them, they took it seriously. That's and they were okay. They didn't get annoyed by him. They felt like I need to step it up.
You take it seriously because this guy is on your team and you're on his team. And he had military examples of that too, which I don't recall that specifically. He spotlighted the Navy SEALs at some point. He spotlighted another military team that did these special operations that were really risky, really dangerous. And that is where he talks about I think it was called the AAR, the After Action Review, that when you've done this military operation and things go wrong or things that don't go wrong, but people can get killed and people do get killed, that you have an immediate after action review. And the after action review is not to credit and not to blame. It is to create a shared mental model of what happened so that the next time you're prepared for that. But it has to be ruthlessly objective about what happened. And each person involved has to fess up, has to honestly take responsibility for their role in it.
So I'm a little confused. It looked like he was yelling at the player, like blaming them, like, what the hell's wrong?
No, that's Popovich.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same concept. It looked like he was blaming.
Yeah, I'm sure he was. Because that's his style.
Okay.
So, one of the advantages of having, when you're talking about don't be nice.
Yeah.
Or don't be nice all the time.
Yeah.
I think that there's an advantage to telling a story about Popovich and about one military team and another military team, and then Pixar. Pixar was an example of don't be nice. It was he spotlighted their brain trusts. Their brain trusts are designed, I call it scheduled discomfort. That's the term I've come up with in the last couple months for this. It's not that it happens only when things go wrong. The brain trust is that you regularly
beat people down.
You regularly look at what's happening with it and say, look at the gap between what we want and where we want to go. It isn't working. It isn't working. It isn't working. Yeah. And it is not to make a person feel bad. It is to say it isn't working and things will not get better. Pixar, in developing the brain trust, it was to regularly create discomfort so that the product will get better.
Did he talk about Steve Jobs at all?
Oh, yeah. He mentioned Steve Jobs.
Because there's a lot of people that disagree on whether it was good or not that he was so mean.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
Like, it probably had an effect on the success of Apple. Was it overall a good thing or not?
Well, I don't know that we need to polarize it, that it's good or bad.
Yeah.
Because Steve Jobs was obviously an abusive man.
Right. Because, it could be too far into the mean.
Right. He was abusing people he was working with for the benefit of the user.
Right.
Which Apple does not do that anymore, apparently. So he was doing something like, have you ever heard the composer Wagner?
Yeah.
Wagner was a famous jerk. And there was an essay called The Monster about how bad a guy he was. And is he justified because he was a great composer? That's not the question here. That's a question of, is it okay to be a jerk? He was a jerk and he got away with it because he was a great composer. So it's a lesson about how life works. It's not a prescription to say you should be a jerk because you can get away with it because you do good work.
Okay.
It's trying to be an objective study. And he did not spotlight Steve Jobs.
Okay.
He mentioned Steve Jobs in there because Steve Jobs was so connected with Pixar.
So the mention of Steve Jobs wasn't about Apple.
The important thing that he made the point of is that successful teams are not necessarily characterized by being happy. Some of them are. I've been around ad agencies that were really successful and the people loved being there. And it was not that there wasn't discomfort. There was discomfort, but they were very much family-like. But that's not, you don't look around and say, who are the successful teams? Oh, these are successful teams. Hey, well, they'll all be happy, right? No. The way he put it was that they are characterized by solving tough problems together, which includes discomfort.
Okay. So he's being the journalist. He's just showing what he found.
On different facets of it. So that if you say, well, Popovich gets in his people's face, that's the way to do it. No, another person does it differently. Yeah.
Okay.
And I think you start to see the kernel of truth that's in there. Not all comfortable.
That just shows like happiness has nothing to do with it at all. Like
happiness has something to do with it. but it is not the big factor.
Right.
It's not one of those three things of safety, connectedness, and future oriented.
Got it. Charlie, stop being happy.
Oh.
There. Or
Smile.
continue not being
Smile
happy.
or you're in trouble.
Carry on.
Carry on, Charlie. You're doing very well. I mean, you suck.
Oh, man.
I'm glad
Not
you can play
again.
that way. Let me ask another rhetorical question. Have you ever heard of the Allen curve?
Is it like the Allen wrench?
It's a similar sounding name,
But not related.
but has no relationship.
Like the
other-
Allen wrench doesn't have an Allen curve on
You
it.
have done a good job in recognizing two similar sounds. And
Yes,
making the
I'm
connection.
very
That's creativity.
wise. Does it have the letter A in it?
You want to hear what the Allen curve is?
Wait, let's wait till this guy stops peeing.
Someone's making an Allen curve right now.
Does it look like this?
No, do it the other way around. Do it the other way around. Make it go up, and then make it go like that, up. Yeah, very good. Now, if you can do that with a pencil on paper and make it go thick, thin,
What?
the Allen curve came from an MIT professor who did research.
Allen?
I'm assuming his name was Allen, yeah.
See that? See what I did
Who did research to see what factor made groups in offices do well together.
Okay.
And he was astonished to find one big thing, and that is how close together the desks are. And he found that the closer together the desks are to where people have regular conversations when they're done with the job, somebody knows that they're done with the job, where there is close physical proximity. That made such a huge distance that there came a point where if you just move the desks a few more feet away, the curve drops for being a successful group. So he found out that physical proximity and conversations and what are you going to do after work and that kind of thing was a huge factor in team success.
So how is this up and down curve related to this?
Oh,
It seems like it's just like a linear.
I was BSing you because you seemed like you were going in that direction about that it was a
jerk.
Yeah, like a French curve.
I'll show you an Allen wrench.
Yeah. We'll get it on
See our
camera.
failures.
No, let's not get that on camera.
So is it just a simple curve up or down?
It's
what the thing I did first, like this.
It's a great. Well, we can show it. We can show it, and we'll credit the book, The Culture Code by Daniel Coyle.
Yeah. Frequency of communication, distance of separation.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the two axes.
Yeah.
The closer you are, it's a real quick drop. That's the whole point of this graph.
A
is
real
that
quick drop.
You move a few feet away, and your conversation frequency just plummets. Is this meters? 8 meters?
Or maybe it is.
So 8 meters. After 8 meters, it's pretty much negligible. If you go farther,
Yeah.
like you're.
Yeah, you might as well be in different offices.
Yeah. Maybe it's distance to actually get to each other, not direct line.
Well,
but-
you know what you can do? You can
Yeah.
look up the Allen curve and find out more about that research
What's the point of this podcast?
because I can't know it all. That's why I want to read it a third time.
You are so deceiving. So, what I've learned, be mean, pee downward.
You got it all. You're a good student.
Yeah.
Let's go to one more thing about the desks. Have you ever heard of body doubling?
I mean, generally, yes.
Yeah, body doubling could be taken to mean many things, like the way children come into the world. But I'm thinking of another.
Wait, no, I did. That's not what I thought.
But explain that.
Yes, keep going.
A student explained to me something but when the pandemic happened and we've got Discord and these social communication channels, that the way when you're an extrovert in particular, but it happens with anybody, if you tell a person, I'm going to work on this for the next hour. What are you going to work on? And they say, I'm going to work on this for the next hour. And then you check it in with each other. And I thought, I remember the most enjoyable times doing homework in my life, getting prepared for classes, was during my son's teen years. We would arrange what are you going to work. Are you going to work on the stuff that takes brain activity? Or are you going to work on the stuff that's just monkey work? And then we decide which CDs to put on. And we would work, and he'd work for an hour or two or for that CD. And it didn't make any difference that we were working on completely different projects, the fact that somebody else is focusing on it, it's a way of creating connection, and it works it works.
That's awesome.
In social media. It's great, and it has helped some students do better during the pandemic.
This again is a physical space thing, being actually together, or
even just doing it on Discord.
The Discord,
yeah,
just having the idea that there is a human somewhere, doing the same thing as you, or not the same thing, just working alongside you.
That's right. Where you say, I think this will take me an hour and a half. Might only take a half hour, but I'll check in with you. Sometimes even leaving the audio open, because you might be listening to the same thing at the same time. But the idea is you are not alone in your pursuit of this. It's a way to create a structure for getting things done.
Yeah, no, this is the community thing we keep mentioning.
Yeah.
It's super important.
You betcha.
So, PROKO.com, go leave your comments, connect to each other.
Yeah.
See, you don't even have to be together. You could just be on PROKO.com.
And martialart.com, and get on my subscription list. Video lectures from Marshall at my website, martialart.com. That's okay.
You've mentioned this in 2 episodes. One of them.
Well, one of them is for private. Yeah, you have to pay $139 for it. This is free.
You're missing out. It's called FOMO. It's one of the marketing tactics. Yeah, it's behind a paywall. You got to buy the Drum Basics course to get access to that one episode that we recorded.
You're good at this.
That you currently don't have access to, but you should. Otherwise, you'll feel bad.
You're one of Malcolm Gladwell's tipping point characters, the salesperson.
Which one is it? The salesperson?
Yeah.
That's what I'm playing.
I'm trying to play the Maven.
Explain.
The Maven is a person who loves their subject, and also, if you go to them, they make it accessible. They give you the way to get in easily.
Okay, I'm playing all of them. It's just at different times. Right now, it's the sales job. Once you get in, I'm the Maven.
Oh, they have to pay for the Maven.
Yeah, pay for the Maven.
Let's see. Any questions about this book?
Oh God. What have you implemented already? Because I know you have groups that you are part of, that you lead.
I mentioned it to you on the behind the paywall, but I'll mention it again.
No, don't.
You gotta go listen. Oh yeah. I do have personal storage. They have to pay $139.
Wow, how convenient. I didn't know. This was not a setup for that.
No.
What? I forgot. What did you say?
It was that I am actually working with and giving feedback to 12 students in perspective over a period of 6 months in preparation for the PROKO perspective.
But what?
Hang on, I'm not done. I'm not done. Yeah. I'm not just giving them feedback. Yeah. We also schedule 2 hours a week to just do exercises together.
Oh, that.
And I don't have to prepare for it. I go there and do the exercises too.
Yeah.
And it's just some of the most enjoyable hanging out with students.
Do they pay for this?
No, they didn't pay for this. Okay, this was we just did this extra. And that's why I did it, because I read this book and I thought, I want to be involved where I'm not just the sage on the stage. I want to be working with them because I want to get better and move in the direction of being a good freehand drafter.
Okay.
And here's another thing.
Mm-hmm.
I have seen over the years people who put together great teams, including you, but also some of my friends and students who have instinctively, or even if not instinctively, just from other instructors, gotten some of this stuff. In around 2016, I did a presentation in Animation Expo on recipes for creative teams. It was about great collaborators. And I put about a month into getting it together, but I've been studying creative couples all my life, particularly married couples, to see how they work. Some of them that I've known personally, spotlighted them in that. I was very proud of what I had in that presentation. And when I read this book, it confirmed a lot of what I said, but it also adjusted some of it.
What did you get wrong? Or that you have changed your mind on?
Some of it was how important the regular discomfort is.
Okay,
but that was not a complete surprise, because I watched Bob and Wanda Duncan from the time I was born, and I have never seen a more harmonious couple, and they made millions of dollars together.
Yeah.
But when Bob died, and I spent hours on the phone with Wanda, she was in Oklahoma, I asked her about their collaboration over the years. She told me a lot about their marriage, and the difficulties they had. But they were so united and they had such a clear vision. And the difficulties tended to be about we have a shared vision. I'm seeing one way, you're seeing another way. This isn't working for me. It may be working for you. But there was never any question about their united front. It's the difficulties are sometimes it's, how many times have you seen creative teams that have broken up bands that I saw everybody who started a rock and roll band or creative project would break up because of what they call creative differences. They didn't have what I made the first issue in that creative recipes for creative teams is if you don't have a shared vision, and they can be different visions if they merge, but if they are different visions that are just going to tug in other directions, it's better to break up. And so that's why creating mission statements is part of that future-oriented thing. There is a story in there, I think it's chapter 3, on the Christmas truce, which happened in World War I that is so moving. It is just really, really and thought-provoking about all this stuff, about how you get people who are, their job is to kill each other, and they end up...
But not during Christmas.
They end up laughing and hanging out together.
What happened the day after?
I'll let you read it. It was really interesting.
Okay.
The whole book is interesting.
Okay, well, thank you. That was a lot of fun.
Daniel Coyle's Talent Code, I think, is one of the best books I've ever known for developing skill, learning how to draw, learning how to get good at anything. Of all the books that I've read or perused or looked at on how leadership and teams work, this is the one. I'm stopping here because this is worth digging into. You find a treasure chest this rich. It would take me a long time to get.
Does he have any other books?
Yeah, he has the Little Book of Talent that you told me about, which I bought. I like the Little Book of Talent.
That's related to the Talent Code.
It's just
that's kind of a
condensation
supplement
of it. Yeah.
Does he have any other topics like?
I haven't looked at him yet.
I don't know, the health code, the marketing code.
He probably will.
The coding code.
Ooh, dev code.
Well, maybe more on this at another time, but maybe not. I'm glad I got to report to you.
Thank you,
Stan Prokopenko.
I will put all of this into practice
today.
Right?
And if you don't, you are in big trouble.
Charlie will be the guinea pig.
Wouldn't it be worthwhile to end this by shooting each other? Aim for the eyes.
Mine curved. Mine freaking curved.
Oh, that was funny.
I saw it go.
Yours did an Allen
I
curve.
haven't shot a gun in years.
Allen curve.
I enjoyed that.
Well, the great thing about me missing is that you now don't have a bullet.
Oh!